Peter Molyneux and the folks at his new development studio, 22 Cans, weren't content with giving us just one incomplete game. 2 years ago, Godus Wars popped into the Steam library of everyone that already owned Godus. Godus itself is actually no longer for sale, however, you do get it when you buy Godus Wars. Many suspected that this was a way of sidestepping the negative reviews on the Godus page and having a new storefront that they could start fresh with. But according to Peter, he always imagined Godus being 2 games, one tranquil, one warlike. However, the thing that's lacking the most in Godus is the element of war that Godus Wars has. Now they have this big planet and it makes it seem like, wow, we have a lot of stuff to do in this campaign. However, from what I know, there's only actually 3 of these lands that you can play. And I'm going to play a little bit of the first one, which, I don't know. I have a tough time playing this game because it crashes a lot, so I never really got too far in my initial playthrough. However, we're going to go up against Morgan here. It's got this bizarro key system where you get keys from winning lands. However, you can't unlock something unless you've defeated a land next to it, so I really just don't understand it. It seems like you should have one or the other. You should have the keys or the touching land, but, you know, whatever. We get these cards also from winning. These are the ones I've obtained so far. I got this awesome swamp ability, and then I'm just gonna use these because whatever. I'm not gonna use them anyways, but you can have 4 thingamajigs. And then it's gonna roll a random thing that's either good or bad, and it always seems to be just kinda indifferent actually. So here's our first opportunity for the game to take a massive dump. Right now it is launching another window where the game is going to be played. See, we got the game window here, and I'm gonna have to toggle it to full screen so that I can play it. And it's gonna not take a dump, hopefully. Okay, so much like Godus, I have to smush these trees, and I can either press them down individually or just jerk my mouse around in a motion that would be great to do in mobile, but not so great on PC. Let's get this fella out of the way and just keep smushing stuff. Man, this is hecka slow. I think I'm gonna speed it up dramatically because I love doing that, and it's a lot funner to watch it going super fast. It makes it seem like I'm really getting some stuff done here. You can build better houses up on the green land because you could only build craft shacks on the sand. So we want nice big houses because they give us more of the belief resource that we need to do other good stuff and hopefully defeat the enemy. I've got a lot of houses now, so I'm going to go ahead and build a citadel. It might be kind of hard to see, but there's a little number next to that star, and I'm moving it around to try to get the biggest number as possible, because the bigger the number, the more those little flags you have, which right now the flag is gray, and the more flags you have, the more troops you can create from that, and also the more soldiers will be in each troop, so I can actually squish more houses in eventually. See, there is now an additional flag, and I can squish them in, and now I can make another troop from the same citadel, which is actually a little more efficient for belief because every additional citadel you create from scratch is more belief, and it's better just to keep squishing in on the same citadel till it gets to max because you get better troops. Basically, that's about it. If you actually plan on playing the game, that is my top pro tip strategy. However, I should have just sent my army right over to the enemy now and rushed their base because they don't even have an army, and I could have just gone in there and instantly won. But I'm drawing this out because for science. Okay, so here is the first bad guys, and I'm giving my troop a little ability to give them some buffness, which will just melt the other guys. And the AI is not too smart. They just keep sending one set of dudes at me, and I have 3 dudes up here, 3 little armies, and they will just keep attacking them and getting experience and leveling up. So yeah, I really really went overboard. I don't need these 6 armies of fellas to take on the bad guys. But, you know, science, I guess. Just sculpting away while my guys create a giant pool of blood. Now, you might see that little lady person walking around on the enemy's side. She is their deity, and she no bueno. If my troops get near her, she actually kind of wants to crush them, and that was a problem at first. But then I got that swamp card, and I could just drop that right on her, and it was pretty cheap, and instantly killed her. I actually, oh, see all of those houses disappear? I actually used it at the start of one map, and didn't realize it till I went to attack the base, but there was no one there, and unfortunately did not record that time, but man, that was hecka sweet. And great to know that I spent all that time making all those armies for nothing. Back to the original map I was showing you, I'm going to shift-click all of my troops and send them on over because I think we're ready to take on the folks. The pathfinding, though, a little derpy, as you can see, because they're not really going exactly the same place. I didn't need to burn down all their buildings, but I feel it's necessary sometimes just for completion. And I need to take over this pink silo thing, which is hidden behind flags. You can see some of my fellas up on the bar at the top have like golden winged helmets from leveling up so much. I gotta get these guys to capture this silo thing, but they're stuck in the sand, and come on fellas, help me out here. Just get around here and do your little jig dance, and let's get this done. My other fellas continue to do stuff. I'm trying to zoom in here so you can see this fabulous dance. I'm so jealous of their moves. I got no moves like that, so I can only be envious of their skills. Any second now. It's gonna happen. Yay. Now we get to collect our rewards of keys and an additional card to be used in future battles. Any second now. We gotta switch windows around again, of course, in a very awkward fashion. Keys. We pick a card. Oh boy. Now with some movie magic, I will go to what happens after you beat the final level of that campaign. You have laser eyes and you slice her up and she spews blood. And then you unlock all this stuff. However, this is not originally how this looked, and lucky for us, someone has a screenshot of what there was before this, a $5 paywall in order to play more of the game. So the next deity to face is Brian of Cubis, and I have not tried it yet. I assume it's probably not much more difficult than the previous campaign, which was not really a challenge at all. I did take my time just because I wanted to enjoy playing a god-like game, but this is not a god game. This is a real-time strategy. It does have god game elements to it. However, it's not what we wanted in a god game. And it's not the first failure from 22 Cans, and I'm not talking about Godus either. I'm actually kind of talking about Brian of Cubis. Before pooping the bed with Godus and Godus Wars, 22 Cans did this curiosity what's inside the cube thing, and promised whoever won would get some fabulous prize. Brian was the one that ultimately solved the inner layer of the cube, and his prize was going to be that he would get part of the profit from Godus, and it had something to do with the multiplayer, and he'd be eventually dethroned by whoever was good at the multiplayer. However, there is no multiplayer, and whoever was in contact with Brian wasn't at 22 Cans anymore, and they could not be bothered to contact him again. Hopefully Brian agreed to have his likeness in the game, because if I got screwed over and then the only prize I got was being a face in a game, I'd feel not too happy. Now let's talk about Conrad, who it turns out was probably the lead or only designer, or I don't know. Point is, he was a contract developer and his contract was done. So he left, and that's basically it for Godus. Everyone else was working on the trail, which, as far as I can tell, is a walking simulator. However, I feel so burned and bruised by this whole situation that unless someone gives it to me for free or pays me, I ain't gonna touch it.